Good morning and welcome to Wake Up with the Consciousness Cafe. My name is Lisa Ferraro. I'm the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Ministries. And this morning, I am so excited to share one of my most favorite people on the planet, a longtime friend, a health coach, exercise physiologist. At one point, you owned your own prosthetics company. And as a fitness trainer, I had the privilege of being more ripped than I ever was in my life. And she's also a fantastic cook, so you could eat all this amazing food, work out, and still be ripped. Please welcome Paula Franetti. Welcome to the program. So great to have you here.
Oh, Lisa, I can tell you how thrilled I am to be here because, you know, when you were mentioning about how we used to work out, my favorite story or memory of you is
Uh-oh.
like when we would run down Friendship Avenue all the way past West Penn Hospital, and then all of a sudden there was this forlorn-looking little church that
Yes,
you claimed for your very own.
we did.
And I'll never forget. It was always, I'm going to have a church. I'm going to have a ministry. And I can't tell you how inspiring you are to me
Thank you.
because you did that. You actually brought that to fruition, and here you are today. And so it is a real privilege and an honor to be here with you.
Well, thank you. I remember that. You had to remind me. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally remember that. And yeah, here we are. You know, it's been a treat to watch you evolve into your passion. You were always passionate about health and fitness and serving people. The way you serve the God in others is remarkable, and it's consistent. Like you always do it. And it's constantly evolving, like the consciousness of the planet right now. We're growing into the light. And boy, there's so many starts here, but was it how many years ago now? Just a couple where you were in a very serious car accident, which
Oh, yeah, it's coming up on 4 years in
4 years.
September. Yeah.
Wow. That was a shocker for all of us. And the way none of us was surprised. Although I have to say, we felt like, wow, this is like it was a serious challenge. You had multiple injuries and serious injuries. And it perpetuated the writing of your fantastic book, Driving Force, which is available on Amazon. I encourage everyone to read it because it kind of opens the door for the way you synthesized all these multiple intelligences you've been using throughout your life into, if I could put this all in one pot and cook it and feed people. Tell us about Rebound Planner. Um, Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, that's funny that you would use that type of an illustration. I feel like Rebound Planner is a soup kitchen now,
Okay.
because it's true. After the dust all settled and I knew I was in this for the long haul, like my recovery. And I'll share with you a little bit about the accident and what actually happened. But, as that was unfolding, and I was experiencing all the different nuances of going through the healthcare system, and finding myself on my own a lot of the time, just waiting for the healing to take place. But learning along the ways that there's healing, but there's also getting well.
Uh,
And, I wanted to get well. And there comes this point where healthcare cannot make you well. Healthcare can heal you, cure things, and get you moving, but it's really up to you to be the driving force of getting as well as you believe you can get.
yeah. Wow. I'm just taking that in. That's a very clear distinction. Uh, Healing and becoming well. How would you define the two and the difference between the two and how you're bridging the gap?
Between the two?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we all know with healthcare,
Mhm.
right? That's the healing part. Like I'm in awe of the medical experts because they truly, truly know the human body, the way the organ systems all work, what is working, what isn't working, when it goes bad, how do you realign things and, guide things so that the body, if given the chance, it can heal itself. But the body is just one aspect of who we are. We are our mind, we are our spirit, and we are our body. And most people they may be really attuned to their spirituality, their mental capacities and things like that. But a lot of times, the body kind of gets pushed by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you have an experience like mine, and I think, the more I talk to people, many people have this, where it's this life experience where you're moving along and then all of a sudden your life gets completely turned around
Mm-hmm.
by something you never expected.
Uh-huh.
And when that happens, because you're not practicing how to react to that,
Right.
you find yourself in a place where you can't reverse what just happened,
Uh-huh.
and you can't stop what's about to unfold, in your future, your healing and things like that. The only thing you can do is truly recognize, once the dust settles and things,
Yeah.
that, I'm at a crossroad here,
Uh-huh.
and I have to pick which direction I'm going to move in. And fortunately, I was able to clearly see the direction that I wanted to go in. But it all comes down to taking that first step,
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, and seeing what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and
Did you go through a
keeping it
period, a lot of times when things like that are imposed upon us, like an opportunity to change your life that you didn't choose? Like some people go bungee jumping or they want to jump out of it. That's all nice, but it's still controlled and it's your option to scare the daylights out of yourself like that. And
all right.
you know, but to have this shock of being like you were just what T-boned at an intersection, right?
Well, the blue, boom,
Wow.
this hits me. And I was like, whoa. I knew I got hit, and the force was so great because it was directly into my driver's side door. It felt as though it pushed me into this completely new reality.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the witnesses that saw it said they thought he was going anywhere between 50 to 60 miles an hour. And the force was so great, it not only like almost folded my car in half, but it pushed me about 40 feet past the intersection. My car turned around, the back end bounced off the second row house wall, and I ended up in a completely new direction. You talk about the way the universe works. I was 4 blocks away from a trauma one unit center, Mercy Hospital,
Wow.
that has the best trauma. And, it wasn't until probably 5 days later that my dust settled down. And that's when the doctors, I had come off the ventilator. They had told me that I had had 4 life-saving, surgical procedures done. I was on a ventilator. They took that off. And now I'm able to like understand what happened. And they
Yeah.
slowly started telling me all the injuries that I had.
Yeah.
And it started like with my pelvis, because the where he hit me and the fact that I was holding on to my steering wheel and I just started to go with the car. My pelvis was broken in 7 places, my back in 5, the pelvic like fractures, the one in the front punctured my bladder, the twisting caused internal bleeding. It ruptured my diaphragm, partially deflated my left lung. I had a concussion from banging all around and things like that, and multiple like
Yeah.
injuries all over my
I mean,
body. So,
it's hard to hear, like you're one of my closest friends. It's like hard to hear that again. I remember when it was happening, and the
well, but
sense
let
on
me
the other
share with
side. But
you.
then yeah. Phew. Okay.
Well, I'm sure, because that's an interesting
Yeah.
observation there and comment, because I didn't feel
Yeah.
any of that. And I remember that, when you were saying that, I remember waking up in ICU. I'm on this ventilator, my hands are tied down, and I'm looking around, and there's all my family, and they're looking at me like I'm dying.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't in any pain, couldn't move, I couldn't speak. But it's like, here again, that's the difference between getting well and being healed. Medicine was keeping the me ahead of the pain,
Yeah.
healing my body, putting everything, all the parts back, Humpty Dumpty, back together again.
Yeah.
And I was starting down that road of truly starting to heal.
Yeah.
But I did, and it wasn't until Dr. Gail Maloney was my trauma orthopedic surgeon who explained to me about my pelvis. And she was explaining, she said, you have to imagine, because, I'm like, well, when am I going to start walking again? And she's like, whoa, wait a second. She goes, you have to realize you're pretty much held together with like paper clips, your pelvis. Because, and I not only had like 4 fractures in the front, like the whole front of my pelvis was like kind of blown apart, but my sacrum, the sacrum
Yeah.
where all the holes, the nerve roots come
Yeah.
through there, that whole right side had snapped off through those holes. And so at this point in time, it wasn't certain whether or not I was going to be able to walk or whether I was going to have long-term, like nerve impingement or whatever, and so they were telling me things, but they weren't telling me at all. And that to me, kind of having a rehab background and health background, that, okay, this is bad. This is
Yeah.
really bad. So
So
I asked her,
let's fast forward to
okay,
Rebound Planner. And
okay,
the details of what you're describing to us, just because we don't have a whole lot of time, but we're going to have you back for sure. Maybe
okay.
on a Soul Call Sunday, because it's such a rich um, experience we can all learn from. Um,
Mm.
Rebound Planner, tell us how this, you're about to get into, that's when the real kind of work or the understanding or realization came as to where they could put you back together again, but to become whole, what did you have to add on your own?
Well, that's the magical piece, is that while I was in ICU, and I'm at that crossroad moment, you know, that's when I began to realize the difference between being well, getting well,
Yeah,
because at that point, they had told me all the things they did, but they didn't know anything about me, my
right.
life, my lifestyle. And then that's when that whole image of me holding the steering wheel and being in the driver's seat, that made sense.
Yeah,
Came to me. In order for me to get well, I had to take the responsibility to get back in the driver's seat, take the wheel, and start driving this thing. And that's how Rebound Planner came about. It was, it didn't happen right then, but it was a long haul. It took me, they told me to expect 2 years
hmm,
before I would be fully recovered. And, knowing what I know, I was able to cut that almost in half,
yeah,
but I still had to start my life over again because my prior business I had to shut down because I couldn't work for a year.
yeah.
I'm single, I live by myself, single income. There
Okay.
were so many things I had to do. I started getting the idea is like, I'm not the only one in this situation,
Hmm.
right? There's many, many people who are facing their own traumatic experience, whether it's trauma like I had, or like Etika, facing a
Yeah,
disease that is turns terminal. That is the same type of process. And so, I started thinking it's like I can be an inspiration to a lot of people because of what I know and now what I've been through. I
yeah.
can help people get that mindset, make that decision, and whatever decision they make, keep them accountable to it.
So how does it work? Tell us a little bit about Rebound Planner and how it works. Is it a series of practices, and do they get you one on one? How do you coach people? What happens?
Well, it's
What
a
is
little
it?
bit of everything.
Tell me
But
what it
what
is. What the heck is a Rebound
okay,
Planner?
so what it is it's
From
an
the
online
basketball player. Sorry. Yeah. Never mind.
yes, it's an online program,
Mhm.
right? That I consider it being workshops, right?
Okay.
And I've developed like 2 main workshops. One is to prepare people for an upcoming surgery, and it is
Right.
called Completely Ready. It covers everything mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that you want to get into place so that you're completely ready to
Hmm.
go into this surgery.
And what's the other one? Yeah.
And then the other one is called Better Than Ever. And it's for that point where you've had whatever, and now you're released from medical care. You're not anywhere near being well. You've
Hmm.
just been checked off the list of being healed. And so now it's about how do I integrate my new healing, my new functionality
Yeah.
into a lifestyle that is going to really reflect me finding that well-being that is truly who I am.
Beautiful. Boy, It's like
Yeah,
it's,
but let me add one last thing too. In between those, as like those are the bookends. In between that, I have like when people are in rehab, I provide like weekly coaching, similar to like I would suspect like what you're doing is like I keep once people have like prepared and they're in that, I can coach them week to week, so they do get me. It's not one-on-one.
yeah,
It's now virtual, as everything is,
yeah.
but it's being there to keep the person reminded of what it is they set out to do.
And so being virtual, you can work with people anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So once again, the name of the book is Driving Force. The
Yes, I have
name
a
of the
copy of the book.
plan to wellness, from healing to wellness, with Paula Franetti, is the Rebound Planner. And we could find more about you on your website, which is
Yeah, well, it's www.reboundplanner.com. But I do want to mention that you can get this book on Amazon, but you can also order it directly from my website. There's a link on the website that allows you to get a signed copy.
excellent.
So what I've tried to do, because a lot of people are buying my book for people that they know. And also, people are looking at, they have a family member, a good friend, whatever, they could purchase any of the workshops for somebody and allow them to have this type of support as they go through their own recovery.
Excellent. So we're going to be seeing more from Paula Franetti maybe later in the year. We're going to work out a 4 week.
Oh, we're going to work out again.
We're going to work out again. I got to get this. Yeah. And we're going to work on a 4 week, maybe a class, a deeper introduction from healing to wellness class for folks who are going through things. And Paula, it's always a treat. It's always a joy to see you. Last time I was in Pittsburgh, I just dropped by your house and we drank water on the porch and talked in that gorgeous backyard. That's the kind of Italian friend you want. You just kind of drop by. That's what we do. But
That's right. That's
thank you for
exactly.
being with us this morning. And wherever you are out there, find out more about us and more about Paula on our website, soulcallministries.org. And join us this evening for Soul Sessions. And remember where you are, no matter what's happening with you this week, you are loved.